Good morning. I guess it was. It's been a great morning. It's been a great day. Yes, morning breakfast with the regular friends that have been meeting, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Frank and Margaret Reimer, David Reimer, and myself. Today it was Peter Wheeler that joined us and Hans Klosen. It was a great time was had. And then had a beautiful lunch and also went out with my grandchildren at 4 o'clock and did the 7-Eleven slushy thing. Well, I'm so glad that they then don't come to my house. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I'm walking here. I might be breathing a little heavy sometimes, but you know what? I'm walking. I'm outside, and I finished biking. No, I didn't finish. I have been biking. It's sitting over there. It's still a little cool, a little windy, but there's the sunshine. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. A busy day. Start off with CJOB Clay Young in the morning at 7. Head over to the Garden Park Estates for the church service. And then I get a chance to quickly move over to Hauptstadt Mennonite Church, where for 7 years I pastored the church there. They've asked me to fill in for a speaker that had to cancel at the last moment. Tim Gertzen, who heads up the church at this point as the part-time pastor, invited me to come and speak. So that's exactly what I will be doing tomorrow. But and then I'm going to come home and rest. Hey, it's a little cool. Had the privilege of getting to visit with Will Reimer, Global News, Global Television in Winnipeg. And they used a short clip of that interview at the 6 o'clock news. It has to do with what's the next step after the water, or what is the next step? While they're waiting for the water to recede, then it needs to dry, and then hopefully there'll be spring planting time left, or at least growing season left, that will allow farmers to put in some crops. For many of the farmers, it means changing to something that's going to be a little shorter season, not as high in input costs, and then they're going to have to take it from there. There are some farmers already planting in different parts of Manitoba, at least trying out new seeder drills or whatever it may be. But for the most part, when Will asked me the question, what's the big difference this year? Well, yes, it's obviously the flood, the wetness. But the big difference was last year at this time we were scratching our heads and praying for rain because it was so dry. We had such a dry period. It was a drought. So when I started interviewing farmers around the January period after the snowfall at Christmas, attitudes changed 180 degrees. So now we have water, and it really is going to put farmers to even a greater test as to what it is they'll actually plant. And then, of course, we have contracts that farmers have signed for grain that hasn't been planted yet. So, as Jim Pallister has told me, if you're going to make a profit, I mean, right now the prices are profitable, but he says you have to grow a crop to be and make that profit. So I just thought I'd say hello from the park. You know, it is pretty empty, as one or two vehicles out in a parking lot, and the sunshine, and myself here in the park, the Bethel Heritage Park. What a blessing. I just get such a thrill of biking around this park for all the great memories that were here. My late wife and I both were born here. My mom and dad, Henry and Annie Siemens, both passed away here. And of course, there's so much, any other things. I remember doing programs. My wife was the director of nursing here for 8 years and doing church services on Sunday morning, representing the Burgstaller Mennonite Church of Plum Coulee. Yes, and making other visitations of people that weren't well. And so, yes, and I remember, bless his heart, Brother David Adrian. He was so instrumental in the spiritual growth in my wife's life and my life when he, first of all, pastored the church at Plum Coulee, and then he became part of the Valley Crisis Ministry, which my wife was on the board. And so Brother Dave would visit us almost weekly, and we would have a chance to ask him questions, to share with him. And then there was Brother Walker Wright, a missionary to China. He pastored the Church of God at Plum Coulee, also a dear friend, and both of them were dear friends. And they both had charismatic tendencies. Brother Wright already has gone to be with the Lord. Brother David Adrian, I believe, still lives in Steinbach. So Brother Walker Wright was in this hospital. My wife was a nurse, and Brother Walker Wright had a heart problem, a physical heart problem, the heart in his body. He didn't have a heart problem when it stood as far as his relationship with Jesus Christ. But my wife was in the hall, and she overheard Brother Dave praying for Brother Walker Wright, saying, "Lord, heal this man, raise this man up. He has so much to give." And finally, Brother Walker Wright said, clearly and straightforward to Brother Dave, he says, "Hey, stop that. I want to go home to be with my Lord." Wow, it was such an awesome time. Both of them were such men of God. Both of them had wonderful spirits in the Lord. Wow, what a blessed time. Well, hey, I hope you have yourself a great Sunday. I have to go home, and I want to go home and finish up for the 2 services tomorrow. Yes, sometimes when you're asked to speak on a short notice, you do pull one out, the back of the Bible. And so tomorrow I'm going to speak on the touch of Jesus at Hauptstadt, and here at the Gospel Park, I'm going to be speaking on the life after the resurrection of Jesus Christ. 40 days he spent on this earth. He had 10 appearances, and I haven't checked out the last 5, but 5 of them had to be where he met with the women. The first one was right out of the tomb, but I'll focus in on that a little bit more next time. So have yourself a great weekend, a great Sunday. May the Lord bless you. I know there's people that are going through very difficult struggles, cancer, heartache. Met with a dear brother this morning who joined us for breakfast at Chicken Chef. Peter is his name, and his wife is suffering with dementia in the hospital, and he himself is going to be having a tumor removed from his bladder. And so we shared about the difficult struggles that some of these things bring on. So if you're in one of those categories where you're challenged, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, and you don't have a job, or your business is going sour, let me just say, look to Jesus. Jesus is there to help us make things right. He's the bottom. He's the bottom when things don't go well and we allow ourselves to cry, we allow ourselves to feel down, up until such a time when Jesus holds the bottom firm and says, my child, now you rest. You rest in me. Thank you, Jesus, for doing that for me. Thank you to all of you who are watching, to all of you that may watch it later. I just wish you the very best. God bless. Somewhere, sometime, somehow, I will see you again. That's Seaman Says.